Hey, I am writing a letter and I have a little more than a half an hour before I have to teach. And I thought I would come out and write with everybody. Um, for anybody that I have not met yet that happen to see this video now or later on, my name's Diane Hochman and I am kind of well known for my copywriting. I suppose that's what they say. I've heard good things about it. And the bulk of my home business is run through email. So I'm going to write and chat. Hello, Karen. Hello, Darlene. Yeah, because I got to write a letter. The only thing is that when I write a letter, I can't see the comments. It just occurred to me. Perhaps, uh, I can get on another device as well. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Bianca. You guys, I'm going to see you guys, those of you that are in class, I'm going to see you guys in an hour. I'm going to be in there doing a letter review session, but I have to write my own letter. I've been a little bit of a delinquent over the weekend. Let me see. I'm going to get on Facebook here so I can see from both sides. So when I share my screen here and I write, I can see what you guys are saying. I'm all fancy today. This whole setup. I went to like a online seminar this weekend. Hey, Alice. Hey, Owana. So I have double computers set up. Okay. And if I do this, I could probably see the chat. It might be interesting for me to jerk my head around. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm going to write a letter to my list, and I'm just going to be truthful about what I'm doing. I have a promotion that I'm going to do, and let's see if my screen comes up. It should for you guys. Yep. I have a promotion I'm going to do, and I haven't concocted the whole thing in my head. So I don't want to put it out yet, but I want to create anticipation. By the way, if any of you guys are not on my email list over at dianehochman.com, you definitely want to be. I don't care if you buy something for me or not. I don't care if like I'm not looking to capture everybody, but I do want you to watch how I do it and what I do and why email is so valuable and could really be a turning point for you and your business. A lot of people say it doesn't work, and I think that is absolutely hysterical. So with that being said, let's see who else is here. Dara, Nancy, hello. All right, so I'm gonna write this letter. So subject line, I'm not telling yet. By the way, I reserve the right to change any of it or take anything away. Okay, well, this week we'll be heading, and I read my letters aloud when I'm working on them. And if any of you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat about marketing in general, about anything that's going on, about anything you see me do. And like I said, I only have about a half an hour. We'll be heading into the fourth quarter, which means the year is almost over, and we need to be thinking about how to set ourselves up to win in 2022. It was right. Doesn't it seem weird, like the idea that it's going to be 2022? And I know it happens when you get older, time goes faster. But I think the pandemic really made everything kind of warped. Whoops. And 99. Now, I have had many people tell me it is absolutely boring watching somebody else write a letter. And I think that that's also adorable. Hi, VJ. VJ, I was just looking at pictures today of us from probably 1982. Oh, time flies. Talk about it was 1999 a week ago. It was 1982, like 2 weeks ago. Um, Watching someone write a letter when you know that they've made a lot of money with copy is that's what I dig doing, watching someone craft their work. But most people are in a rush. They're like, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go quick. And what they don't realize is that if you build a list and learn to write, you can make more money in 10 minutes than most people make in months on end. So it's definitely a skill worth learning. Okay. Do. No. Okay. A year. Can you guys see, or do you want me to make it bigger? Uh, Ray, time, I think time is speeding up, Ray, but I also think this was like a weird anomaly time vortex from 2020 to now because we've been locked up. I mean, I was in the hospital, as you well know. We've been unable to come and go and operate normally, and it stopped a lot of big. Okay, make it bigger. Yes, ma'am. I think it's this. I think it stopped a lot of people from the normal stuff. I know it did me. Boy on the Virginia, what I've seen out there. I mean, my business went on. Actually, it did very well, but a lot of people, they just lost their pace. We are on the verge of the new year. So, there are many people who have literal. No one can. Q-U-A-R-T. You don't have any pictures? Oh, I'll give you some, B. I mean, I only have, I don't know, like 2 or 3. I was just looking at old pictures and you were in some of them literally today. I'll send you over some. Uh, Time is weird. Right now it's very weird, Karen. I'm feeling much better, Nancy. Um, Still got a couple things going on. I go for my checkup tomorrow. But all in all, I was very, very fortunate. I have another friend that's very sick right now. I've known so many people in the industry that have had a really bad run, and it's very upsetting when I think about what could have happened. I'm very thankful. I've also been making a lot of changes and a lot of things for myself because I just got that scare and I said, all right, enough. Let's change some things up. So um with that being said, lollipops. I don't know how do you spell lollipops. Lollipops. Let's see. Sugar coating. Be all rainbows and lollipops. It's 6:31. Okay. And God knows they probably make way less sales than I could because I tend to just go things. When it all the end of the day, I've been thinking about this a lot. I know that's misspelled. Everybody takes courses, and I love teaching courses. I'm going to be teaching one in half an hour. I love teaching courses, and people love to buy courses. But then we get to the point where we have to practice, and that's one of the things that's really missing. We take the course, or maybe the course is one night a week, and then the week goes by and we don't practice in the middle. We take the course, it finishes, and we jump into the next thing. And what we've never done is actually acquired the skill. And I've been preaching about this to my most recent email class because it takes 10,000 hours, or according to the book The Outliers, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. And that becomes, oh wait, the camera's there. I'm looking at the screen over here to look at your comments, but the camera's over here. So I'm like giving you the side of my head. Did I have any earwax? It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. And that's kind of like, oh man, how could that be? Now I've been doing this for 22 years. I dare say I'm an expert. If you were to calculate the number of hours I've put in learning this craft and learning these skills, I am 100% an expert. But most people, it would take years to become an expert. So that's depressing. You think I can't do this. But it only takes about 20 hours of practice to become functional, to become competent at a skill. And so when you think about the skills, why don't you guys tell me in the chat, what kind of skills do you need to acquire to have a solid home business? What do you guys think? I know there's only a handful of people here. But tell me, a skill. I mean, Ray, look at you. You're a hypnotist. You are a master hypnotist. You're very, very, very skilled. You've been at it for 20 years. But everybody had to start. And you've told me stories about when you first started out and you had a script and you were working with, the training that you got. And you went to work and you practiced and you had clients and you worked and you learned until it became ease and flow. And you are the master that you are today. So communication. So be a little bit more specific. I mean, communication's absolutely right. Darlene, be a little bit more specific on what kind of communication, because in business, there's lots of different kinds of communication. What do you need to master for your specific business? Dare says creating a list. Yeah, there's two sides to that. The lead generation side, right? Because we can generate leads, but if we don't write to them and learn how to create an offer or an invitation, then we're in trouble. So we have the lead generation side, that's one skill. And then the actual writing skill of being able to compel people to look at your offers. Two skills, actually. Okay, two skills. So communication is like a big umbrella, and there's lots of different kinds of communication. What else? Conversations with new people. And that's what Alice, I know you've been working on that. And Alice, wouldn't you say that you found that in just a short period of time, your improvement is kind of stunning? I'm watching you when you finally decided, all right, I'm gonna just get out there and talk to these people. You're going faster, you're sorting through people better, you're coming to understand which people are the right prospects for you, which people are not prospects at all, saving you time. It's practice, it's that skills acquisition. Uh, Actually putting in action what skills I have learned, my confidence and introverted self holds me back. So Elizabeth, let me mess with the languaging that you have there. So you have a concept that you learn, but you haven't acquired the skill, because to acquire the skill requires the practice. You guys follow that? Intellectually understanding how to do something, like you can intellectually understand how to ride a bike, but until you get on the bike and wobble around, you don't know how to ride a bike. You ever see a teenage kid, they think they know how to drive, they don't know how to drive, they, "Mom, can I get the keys?" You just look at them like, "What are you, insane?" They took driver's ed, they learned in a class, they've only had like 10 hours behind the wheel. And so we know that they are not skilled at driving, but the only way to learn to drive is to drive. Think about that. The only way to learn to drive is to drive. Mm. Knowing how to have people know you care and how to carry conversations so it flows. Okay, again, I'm going to work with the languaging a little bit, Darlene. I don't think we can cause someone to know we care. We can just care, and then we can see who receives that. I don't know that we can cause someone to know we care, because if somebody wants to believe nobody cares, they're going to believe that. Or if somebody wants to believe that there's a magical guru with pixie dust that they sprinkle on you that makes you rich, they're going to believe that. What we have to do is care, and then communicate our care in writing or in talking, etc. Like, can you guys tell I care? Right? But there's only 13 people here right now. Now, granted, this is unannounced. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't try to promote it or anything else. But does number 14 not know I care? Does number 17 not know I care? No, it's just a matter of who's here to receive my care right now. So I think it really comes down to, you need to know what skills you need to have. Like if you wanted to be a surgeon, you kind of have an idea of what skills a surgeon needs to have. We haven't gone to medical school and we don't know the curriculum, but you have a little bit of an idea. If you want to be a teacher, when we get into entrepreneurial work and home business type of marketing, I think a lot of the people out in the field don't really know what the skills they need are, and then they're not practicing the skills. All I did was practice. Like anytime I learned something new, and when I'm working with someone, that's all I want them to do. I'm always like, okay, now go practice. Let me see what you're doing. And Alice can attest that's true. Ray can attest that's true. They know I'm like, go practice. Show me what you're doing. I will keep molding you. I will keep crafting you. I will keep teaching you. Go practice. So if somebody doesn't practice, I can't give them what they need. And that's what I'm putting something together, and I guess I'll announce it tomorrow. But I haven't rolled it around completely in my head, because I want to give people an environment to actually execute in, to practice, because they don't have one. Think about it. Do you have one? Do you have a place to practice your skills in a safe environment where you can get coached? And I know a lot of people invest in coaching, etc., but that's generally once a week, and that's good. But you're still by yourself for the actual practice of the skill. And then we have a lot of people that are not quite clear what skills they need. So that's where I'm going. Okay, there are a million classes out there for you to take. In fact, you've probably taken dozens of them. But when it all boils down, and at the end of the day, classes mean nothing. Practice and skill acquisition does. I'm going to do what I just told you. I'm going to say what I just said. Write something smart or good questions or something, so when I turn around and look, I'll see it. But then as I read along, I want you guys to think about it. I mean, I was just in the hospital and I worked as a nurse's aide when I was in college. You know, you had to learn how to take blood pressure back when it wasn't a machine and you really had to do it yourself with a stethoscope, and you had to learn to take someone's pulse, and you had to learn these different things. And after you did it, you know, the blood pressure thing at the beginning, you can't hear it, you don't know what's going on, and then you just kind of get used to it. And it's probably doing it, you know, 20, 40, 60 times that makes you really understand it. You can do it in your sleep. And then think about each skill as you go up the line. Let's say I decided to go on and become a nurse. You know, you learn these different skills and you learn how to draw blood, or you learn how to give a shot, or you learn how to do this. Each of those things, it's just a matter of time until you acquire them. Think about it, whatever your job is. Cash register, right? I worked as a cashier as a younger person. And you get there and it's like, oh, there's so much. And like, don't you hate when you get the new cashier and they don't know what they're doing? It feels bad. But I always have a heart because I was the new cashier and they throw you to the wolves and put you out there. But before you know it, you're going pretty fast. And I remember I worked in a store where you had to memorize all the lookup codes for the produce because they didn't scan. So you had to know all the codes. And it only took like 3 days to memorize 100 codes. Now you would think, how could somebody memorize 100 codes so quick? Because if you do it enough times over a 4-hour shift, you just come to know the code for bananas, and you know the difference between regular bananas and organic bananas. It's repetition. It's repetition. So lead generation is repetition, conversations, and knowing when to pursue a conversation or when not to pursue a conversation or how to steer a conversation. It's just repetition. How to write a letter, it's just repetition. How to close the sale, and I'm not a big closer, but I mean how to direct the person to where they pay. How to direct a presentation. I listen to, for those of you guys that are members of My Lead System Pro, and if you're not, ask me about it. I'm their top affiliate. I did their Wednesday webinar last week with, had a speaker on, and I was like the host. And there was a point where I went into a presentation, and it's funny because I listened to the replay and I was going and blowing. And if you guys, those of you that know about the boot camp that's going on, if you go to the page for the boot camp, and I'll give you guys in the chat, anybody who needs info on that, and you go look at that and you watch the video up top, it's like a 15-minute video. I was on complete and total autopilot. I was going and blowing. I had some slides in front of me, but I was going and blowing because I've presented so many times and I know my company so well that I didn't even have to think. It was just poetry in motion. I was like, damn, I'm good. I should be doing infomercials. I was like, I listened to it and I don't even remember like how I was doing that. And I look at it and I go, wow, but don't we drive like that? And don't we do a lot of other things like that? Don't we? I remember, you know, you have a baby and you don't know how to hold them. And then, you know, after 3 days, you're like hanging them by their toes, wiping their butt, powdering them. It's crazy. What are you guys saying? Okay. Uh, Karen said, I stumbled through my first several yoga classes when I first started teaching. Now I can teach it in my sleep. Yes, on Thursday afternoon, I had Miss Alice was my co-host, and the same thing. I don't have to worry about doing a webinar or going live. It's not because I'm so special. It's just because I've been doing it for so long. There's so much repetition. Even starting up Zoom, or I'm using StreamYard right now, even up starting up the system, it's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And having somebody walk through that with you is really powerful because it becomes second nature. What time is it? I got to finish this letter. It's quarter. Okay. You can learn a skill Only have to make money. Pretty darn cool. Why don't you guys think about this? That's 5 hours a week, right? For a month to be really pretty competent at a skill. That's pretty cool. And then if there's 3 months left to the year, you could have 3 money getting skills by the end of the year. And I always just sit and look because I don't know a zillion skills. Like I watch other people, I'm like, wow, they're good at that, or they're good at that, or they're good at that. I just honed it down to the handful of skills that were going to make me a living and that I'm good at. Okay, the handful of skills that can make me a living that I'm good at. And you do the 20 hours and you become competent so that you can write a letter, or that you can have a conversation, or you know how to go pick up leads, or you know how to throw up a capture page, or you know how to write an offer, right? And when you learn those things and you practice and you give yourself a month, and if you have more time, you know, some of you guys are very part-time, you can learn it in a month. If you are more full-time, you know, or you happen to have time off or whatever, you can learn how to do this in a week, whatever the skill may be. And then all of a sudden, you're going and blowing, you know what you're doing. But it's a matter of sitting down and practicing the skill and getting some feedback. And what most everybody does is they go, okay, I finished the course. Let me go take another one. Makes no sense to me. Okay, I finished the course. It's going to happen right now. This week is the last week of my email course. I'm going to teach people how to write an offer, a particular type of offer. And it's one of the biggest money-making skills you can possess. And everybody will just go off to the next thing. And it's fascinating to me because if you possess this skill, you could crush the next promotion. If you possess this skill, you could crush every promotion. Yet most people won't take 20 hours. I sound like I'm preaching, but it's the truth. I don't sugarcoat it. It's the truth. If you had these skills, none of this would be hard anymore. None of this would be hard anymore. And a lot of times we say, you know, I'm scared or this or that. I was scared too, guys. I was a 270-pound woman out on the street selling weight loss to try to feed my kids so I could stay home with them. You think I wasn't scared? Every time I went out with one of those buttons on that they told us to wear, I was petrified. I was petrified that somebody was going to say something horrible to me. And I did it anyway. And I became good at it. And I did the presentation and I learned about the products. And, you know, I learned how to do this stuff. And I learned how to, you know, back then we used to put flyers on cars. I learned how to do it all fast. I was a pro because there was something that I wanted. And I knew that the only way I was going to get good was through repetition. And luckily back then we didn't have the internet to distract us all over the place and 70,000 messages. I had one message, one path, one desire, and that was to stay home with my kids. All right. 5 hours a week for a month, and you can have a new skill. There are 3 months. There are only 4 skills in this game. Another day. Or not. Okay, and here's where we do the twist. I will be revealing something to you tomorrow. Ride the dojo. You have to show up. Show up. I'll leave you. Could be the very thing that I'm going to save it and I'll send myself a test after and read it aloud because I didn't really check it. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. Actually, I could turn off the screen share and see what you guys are saying. So what I just did was I created an anticipation. Okay. There are only 4 skills, Darlene. 4. Now, how fancy you want to take each of the 4 skills is up to you. Okay. How sophisticated you want to get. I'm pretty basic. Some people want to get pretty sophisticated, but there's only 4 skills. That's all there is. So when you think about it, if there's only 4 skills, right? Could I learn them before the end of the year and do 20 hours on each one so that I have mastery come the new year? Okay. I'm not saying you're going to be an expert. You're not going to be an expert. You're not going to be an expert for years. Most people don't stick around for years. Some do, but you will be completely functional and capable of, prospecting and capturing and having a list and getting sales. There's only 4 skills. So, and I've been doing those 4 skills since before the internet was prevalent. I'll be doing the 4 skills, it doesn't matter what platform it is. It doesn't matter if you get shut down on Facebook. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters. And if you get functional, it becomes easy to go pro. But you got to get functional first. You gotta commit to getting yourself functional. And that is something that most people don't do. So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me while I was working. I'm going to go over to my class now. Those people that are in the class, I'll see you over there. If you are not on my email list, it's dianehochman.com. It's right on the screen. I don't think there's anyone here that's not on it, but if you're not, make sure you're on it. If nothing else, to study and watch. But, perhaps I have an environment and something that I'm going to offer that could make a real difference for you. So I'm going to run off. Everybody have a wonderful evening. And like I said, if you're in the class, come on down. We're going to do some review of the letters. So I'll see you guys later. Everybody have a great night. If anybody needs me, Diane Hochman at Gmail is the easiest place to find me, or right here on Facebook. Take care.